Okay, let's dive in. Imagine you're right back there, Avengers. Endgame, the dust is settling after that massive battle with Thanos. But this time, something's different. We've got this really fascinating piece of alternate storytelling, completely different ending where, well, Iron Man makes it through. So our mission today is basically to unpack this whole alternate narrative, look at the key moments and, figure out what makes it such a compelling what if.
Mhm.
We're not just talking plot changes, it's the whole emotional ripple effect we want to explore.
Yeah, and what's interesting right off the bat is how it grounds itself in what we know. That
Mm.
final battle chaos, it starts there. You've got Captain Marvel showing up, totally powerful. Thor's got both hammers swinging,
Mhm.
and Iron Man
Yeah.
still right in the thick of it, fighting like crazy. It really honors that original setup.
Absolutely, you're right there with them, heart pounding. You think you know exactly what's coming next, and then bam! This is where it veers off. Thanos, he still gets the nano gauntlet in this version, right? But instead of that immediate sense of dread, like, oh no, this is it, there's this tiny little hint that maybe, just maybe, things are going another way.
Exactly. Remember that look between Tony and Doctor Strange in the movie? That silent conversation. Here, it feels amplified. Strange glances, almost invisibly, towards that quantum device. The shrinking tech Tony was messing with. And that look becomes the trigger for a whole new plan. It suggests a deeper level of planning, maybe? More trust than we even saw.
It's such a clever pivot, isn't it? Instead of Tony just making that desperate sacrificial grab for the stones, we actually see a plan click into place. He reveals a failsafe, something he built into the nano gauntlet. Imagine thinking that far ahead, designing a contingency for someone getting their hands on cosmic power who shouldn't have it. That's so Tony. Always needing control.
It really is. And this protocol, the way it's described, is like a temporary circuit breaker for the stones. Doesn't nullify their power, not completely, but it contains it just for a few seconds. But those seconds are everything, right?
Mhm.
It just shows how he's always thinking steps ahead, even when facing, well, the impossible. And that's the opening for the nanolink tech. So instead of that raw, devastating energy flooding him directly, which we know was fatal, he uses this link to basically reroute the power, funnels it into a special reactor in his chest plate. It's like
Mm.
distributing a lethal shock across a whole system instead of one direct hit.
Uh-huh.
You see his suit just light up with all the stone colors. It's intense. He's clearly struggling under massive strain, but he's handling it. What's so fascinating there is how it reframes Tony's heroism.
Mm.
He's still pushing himself to the absolute limit, still putting everything on the line. But the solution comes from his brain, his tech. It's not just about that final, irreversible sacrifice. It allows for a different kind of victory, maybe.
Then you get that classic face-off, Thanos. I am inevitable. Chills every time. But Tony's comeback, and we are Iron Man, it just lands differently here. It feels less like a final word and more like a statement of unity, collective power. What did you make of that shift?
Yeah, the emphasis definitely moves from the one guy making the ultimate sacrifice to the whole team's power combined. It's not just Tony taking the hit. The narrative says it's the energy from Captain Marvel, Thor, Scarlet Witch too, all channeled through him, focusing on the stone's power that he's momentarily contained. And the result, also different. They don't vaporize Thanos and his army. They banish them, shunt them into some kind of dimensional void, which, that raises its own questions. Is banishment better? Worse? What happens down the line?
That's a really good point. Banishment definitely leaves things more open-ended, maybe. But right then, in that moment, it allows for a totally different emotional beat. Instead of Pepper's tragic goodbye, you get this tearful reunion. She still says, you can rest now, but the meaning is relief, survival, shared survival. Even Thor's reaction, that big clap on the back, it just highlights the shift. It's victory, hard won, not tragedy.
It completely changes their paths forward, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Steve still makes his choice. He returns the stones, stays in the past, leaves the shield. That's still poignant. But now, Tony's there. He's maybe scarred, changed by the ordeal, sure, but he's there, joining Sam and Bucky. That image of them together, looking forward. It says a lot about the Avengers' resilience, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. For me, it's like even after all that devastation, those core connections, that shared mission, it survives, it endures. And then you get that shot later, the rebuilt Avengers Tower. It's not a memorial anymore. It's a living place, a training ground, new heroes learning under Tony Stark's guidance. It paints such a hopeful picture of legacy. Legacy in action.
Totally. It's like a physical symbol of his impact lasting, not just as the guy who saved the day, but as a mentor figure shaping the future. And then that quiet scene, the balcony with Pepper and Morgan, hearing him whisper, I love you 3000 again. But this time knowing he actually gets to live that future with them, it hits differently. Much deeper, somehow.
Right, but this alternate story doesn't just stop there. With the main ending, there's that little tease, the post-credit scene. We're back at the cabin, a familiar place, but there's something new brewing in the garage.
Yeah, the visuals there are great. You see Tony's original helmet, the Mark One, maybe,
Uh,
battle-scarred, sitting right next to a new one, smaller, sleeker, and it's got red, gold, and purple accents. Immediately you're thinking, okay, what's this? Evolution, continuation.
it felt like passing the baton, visually. Like the Iron Man story isn't over, it's just changing shape. And then we see Morgan. She's older now, clearly got the skills, welding away in the garage. She's got the safety goggles on, this determined grin. You just know she's following in his footsteps, but maybe making her own path.
And that conversation between them is just perfect. Tony's obviously bursting with pride, right? Looks like you're going to build it even better than I did.
Yes.
And Morgan, she's just so confident. I'm not building Iron Man, Dad. I'm building Ironheart. Boom. It's such a fantastic passing of the torch moment. Really organic, really personal because it's his daughter. Sure, there's the Riri Williams connection from the comics, which is cool for those who know. But having it be Morgan here, that feels really resonant within this specific story.
Yeah, definitely. And that final shot, just focusing on this small arc reactor she's built, glowing brightly in whatever she's creating, it just seals the deal. A new generation carrying the torch. It's hopeful, powerful ending.
So really what we've walked through here is this alternate take on a huge cinematic moment. One where, cleverness and teamwork find a way around the ultimate sacrifice.
Mhm.
And it paves the way for a different kind of future, a different kind of legacy.
And maybe the big takeaway for you listening is how exploring a what if like this lets us think about heroism, about sacrifice, about legacy, all from a new angle. It lets us imagine a different road for characters we frankly care a lot about.
Which kind of leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? Beyond Marvel, beyond Endgame, what other big moments in movies or books or anywhere could be reimagined like this? What happens when you explore those roads not taken? What new layers could you find in stories you thought you knew inside out? Something to chew on.